Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 11.
11, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, we already recorded this entire episode, but the file corrupted, so we're gonna talk about it all again. Obviously,
Yeah.
we haven't recorded in over a month now, but there's a
It's
reason
been
behind
just,
that.
yeah.
After Christmas and the New Year, school really picks up for us, so we just had to get through that, and now we are back to record consistently. Hopefully, with the beginning of the semester starting, we should be able to get into a rhythm here and then get episodes up, ideally weekly for you guys. But over the past month, so much stuff has happened, and we're gonna quickly run through most of it. But to
Yeah.
start, some once again, sad news in the rap hip hop community. Legend in the industry, and
Yeah.
that word legend is tossed around for like basically anybody, but really a true legend in the industry for his influence and pioneering on the community. MF Doom passed away on Halloween, and we only learned about it I think in like December.
Yeah, December, literally exactly 2 months after December 31st, the last day of the year too. It was crazy. Like when he found the news, because I saw on Instagram, I follow him on Instagram, and saw the Instagram post. I didn't read it at first. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what this is. And then I go on Twitter, right, and I'm seeing people like freaking out, like, what are you guys freaking out about? And like they're saying MF Doom passed away. I was like, what do you mean he passed away? So I go back and read the post caption, and then I was confused because they worded it so weird. I was like, is he still alive? Maybe because, like, remember, Doom has like such a mysterious persona
Yeah,
anyway,
it
so I
said
wasn't
like
sure what they're really
yeah,
talking about. Yeah,
it said like transitioned October 31st, and I was
yeah.
like, that's an odd choice of
Transitioning.
words. And Matt, like you said, like honestly, I always knew who MF Doom was, but I never really like listened to him. But everyone kind of knows
Hmm.
like the persona he has. Like, let's be real here, like mysterious, like kind of ominous, kind of guy,
Yeah,
and like really private with his personal life, obviously. So it was really good to
yeah,
see that his family kind of got 2 months to mourn on their own, right?
yeah. That's that's a luxury that most celebrities don't get in today. When Kobe Bryant passed away, his wife and LeBron James, like, they weren't able to heal from it. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was attacking, like, oh, where's your statement on this or whatever, and it was
Yeah.
like, it was messed up. And I think Doom's mysterious persona definitely helped with all of this. And I think because he wasn't always like posting on social media and wasn't like super like adventurous in terms of just doing like, and also he never showed his face. He always wore a mask, right? That was his like his trait, right? Wearing a mask. And like, there were some incidents where someone was performing as MF Doom, but it wasn't actually Doom. It was like someone, it was just wearing, and it was like, I forgot the whole spiel around that, but like, it was like someone or a Doom mask and was pretending to be MF Doom rapping and stuff, but then it wasn't actually Doom, and that type of stuff Doom was able to have happen because of how mysterious he already was. The part of me feels like he's not even gone because of how little we saw of him on the internet, like on media, anyways. And even within his music, the way he portrayed himself, he had so many different personas. He had different um like alter egos he rapped under. Like, he had King Ghidorah. He had obviously he had like the Mad Villainy with Madlib. That was like a also a different type of persona he took on as well. Um, it's Doom was one of like he I listened to Doom a lot. And I loved his instrumentals a lot. Um, and I've seen his instrumentals, so like before I even started listening to Doom, I've like some of the music I listened to before, and I go back to Doom, like, wait, this they sampled this, and it was like crazy to like look back and see that, right? I know Earl Sweatshirt, one of my favorite rappers ever. One of his biggest influences was MF Doom, and his biggest influence in terms of an actual record was Mad Villainy. One of his albums, some rap songs, was literally like, some people say that's Earl Sweatshirt's Mad Villainy. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's what a lot of people like to say, and I can see that. But um, even like Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats with Unlocked, they said that when they were in the studio, they were trying to recreate what Doom and Madlib did when they were making Mad Villainy. You know, a lot of people have took huge inspiration from Food or Food, however you want to pronounce it, right? With like the double entendres, how songs he was able, like a song beef rap, he was able to, he was talking about rap beef, but he was also talking about like why beef is bad for you, right?
Yeah.
And you know that's crazy, right? Um, how he's able to talk about like a real life shit, and also relate back to food on every song. You know, I thought that was like how like nobody like there are very few people that actually do that, but like, and he started a wave of type of double entendres like that as well. You know, his influence hip hop is crazy. Like we like some rappers I didn't even know even listen to Doom. I mean, well, obviously every rap like most rap probably listen to Doom, but some rappers I didn't think really took inspiration from Doom did. You know, guys like Schoolboy Q even inspiration from Doom, even like ASAP Rocky. You know, they all, you know, Doom was a big influence to everyone in hip hop. You know,
Yeah.
and it's such a weird circumstance with revolving around his death, and we don't even know the full story yet. We just know it was underlying health illness, health issues. We don't even know if it's COVID related. We don't like. I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, recipes to a legend, man. Like Doom was um huge influence in the, like I said, the underground hip hop scene. He started that. He start like most underground hip hop scene right now is takes a major inspiration from MF Doom. Um, and MF Doom wasn't that isn't as underground as an artist as we like to think, because he had like a Nike shoe collaboration, you know. So he's not as like underground and as conceited as we think. He's just, that was just his persona, and I think it's cool how he's now influenced the underground scene, which is actually like underground, which is kind of like, in a way portrays what he wanted to be at the same time. So yeah, it almost doesn't feel real, like I said, because how little we've seen of him. But yeah, you know, it sucks. And we won't get any new, you know. Well, we will get some I guess some posthumous releases, some stuff that has been released for a while, and some producers that he's worked with and stuff. But I'm excited to see that. Yeah, man, it's crazy. The last day of the year too. Last day of an awful year, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just person who didn't listen to him much, you could still see like his influence on like the
Yeah,
entire rap community. I know when he died, like every the thing was like he was probably your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Like
yeah,
everybody took something from from MF Doom in some sort of way,
yeah.
no matter what. So, as I said, in the beginning of the episode, the word legend and goat in the industry gets thrown around for basically anybody nowadays. But
Yeah.
like, if you want to talk about like true legends in the industry, like MF Doom has just got to be up there, just for everything he's done. Like in terms of just overall, just skill in his art and just his overall
Mm-hmm.
influence on the game is just crazy. Now for as someone for like me who hasn't listened to him, I'm curious as to what you would recommend people listen to Mal.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Mad Villainy is my personal favorite of his work, and like I said, the instrumentals is something Doom. Now, Doom didn't produce Mad Villainy, but he has produced most of his other projects. Madlib produced Mad Villainy, and Madlib is one of the best producers of all time. Um, it's such an amazing project. From from front to back. If I ever get a record player, I would definitely this would definitely be an album I would get as a vinyl, because I want to hear what it would sound like playing on a record player. That'd be, it probably would sound like heaven. To be honest, those instrumentals Madlib got, and just the chemistry between them, I think is amazing. Obviously, like Food, um, just the double entendres, like I said, crazy, relating back to food and then talking about like other stuff. Also has Operation Doomsday, which I think there's a lot more notorious samples on that. Like I know, um, record label with Joey Badass, like Pro Era, there's a lot of songs that they derive from Operation Doomsday. Like sample from that. And he has like, I mean, there's some albums in Doomsday that I haven't even listened to because it's such a wide discography with like so many different personas as well.
Yeah,
He also has like his King Ghidorah um, Alter Ego, which I really like too. One of my favorite songs off of that table is Phasers. I think that's an amazing song. Yeah, those are some albums to get into Doom. I would probably start with Mad Villainy, then expand from there. But yeah, that's for like anyone that wants to listen to Doom. And then when we saw, you know, the Spotify and music charts, Doom his albums re-entered those lists when he passed away. Like they were, it was like the top, they went back to top 10. I think that's amazing. You know,
Um,
it
I
was,
also I also think there's like a lot of people give that a negative connotation. Like for some reason, when an artist dies, people just love to gatekeep them. Like, oh, you didn't listen to
yeah.
him when they were alive. Like, why are you gonna listen to him now? I see nothing wrong with doing that. Like, when X
There's
died,
nothing,
yeah, like when X died, before I wasn't his biggest fan. Like, I didn't really check him out that much. But after he passed away, I did go to look into his music because I don't know. I kind of want to know about someone's art that they've left behind. And there's nothing wrong with doing that after they've died. Like, if you're really gatekeeping that, I don't know how much of a fan you really are. You should want. We've had we have a whole podcast on this, but it's like, let your favorite artist's art be available to everyone. Don't like, I don't want to say discriminate, but like, don't like get mad at them for listening to your favorite artist. Y'all know that's like a good thing, right?
yeah. People tend to forget that it's a very good thing. You want publicity.
Yeah.
You want your favorite artist to have publicity, and you want your favorite albums of theirs to be shown everywhere.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't.
everyone listening to them. Isn't that what you want? Like,
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense to me why someone would do that. But I just with the new year, obviously we got a whole slew of music coming out. That boy Drake delayed his album again. It was supposed to come out last month in January, and then he got like injured. So it prevented him from singing and working in the studio, because once you hurt your leg, it's like connected, so like your lungs don't work anymore. But like, yeah, it's just shout out Drake, bro. I'm sorry about your leg injury. But being real, like I don't know how extensive the injury was, so just hopefully he's all good now, which I think he is. For music specifically this year, I think we can get something a little bit similar to 2020 in terms of like popular artists and like the quantity of music dropping, because we're still pretty deep into this pandemic here, so I do expect artists to be, and like all the artists that didn't drop last year are like backloaded into this year. So bunch of albums that come out should be pretty good, especially some mainstream artists I expect to do pretty well.
yeah. I think Tyler the Creator, he always drops an odd number of years. Like just 2021, obviously he dropped 2019, 2017, 2015, 2013, and 2011. So I'm hoping that he drops an album this year. We've seen him. I saw him video of him cooking up in his studio, and it's a pretty nice studio actually. And and he's had a few really nice rap features. The past his past few features have been like really really nice rap features. I really liked his feature on West Side Gun's album on 327. That was one of my favorite features like of last year actually. And I'm hoping to see what his next album's gonna sound like. I mean, obviously Igor, and you look at the difference between Igor and Flower Boy. It's like there's like one's like contemporary R&B, and the other one's like hip hop. I'm curious to see what he's gonna do next. I mean, we got, like I said, we got a lot of rap features. I don't know what direction he's really gonna go, to be honest. I don't know if he's gonna produce it all himself. I don't know if he's gonna get another producer. Like, I really don't know at this point, but it's gonna be interesting. And I mean, I'm always ready to listen to when Tyler drops.
Yeah, that should be exciting. He always likes to experiment on his albums, which is something I can appreciate.
Yeah.
And he always he's always executed it pretty well. Some albums in his earlier discography are kind of iffy. But like overall, solid work always from Tyler. I can expect. I listened to his discography pretty recently, actually. Just for myself, I've been overall trying to listen to more discography. So I'm listening to like Frank, Tyler, Cole, Kendrick, and like a bunch of other people, just to kind of because I feel like those are people I should be listening to. And listening to Tyler's album, like it's cool to see how different he can get on just exploring different genres, which is interesting to me. But yeah, you're talking about his features. Like he did have a pretty good run last year, I thought. Also Tokyo Drift, he really he went off, which I enjoyed that song. It's still in my rotation today. But yeah, it should be a pretty good year just for music overall, some artists I'm looking forward to dropping personally. Obviously Travis Scott, Utopia, pretty hyped up, which we'll get into soon. Um, Drake, obviously, I'm excited for like a new little TJ album that could be cool. I think Polo G is also dropping this year, but he also dropped last year. There's nothing to really wait for, and obviously everyone's excited for a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar album.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know about the Kendrick album. If we're ever gonna get that, to be honest. I know he wants to tour badly, so not being able to, he should drop an album then go on tour, and then that's like what he does. A J. Cole album looks more likely to happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to say though. I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to see what direction he's going with his music, and I don't know. Like I don't know what to expect from Cole at this point. We had KOD, and KOD was kind of boring. Had some good parts, but overall it was pretty boring. He had For Your Eyes Only, and he had 24 Inch Drive, and those were people like to consider. It's always a battle between those two albums for some reason for his 1 and 2. I mean, obviously he's you go back further, and he's had some really great projects. I think Born Sinner is very underappreciated when it comes to Cole's discography.
I like Cole Road too.
Mainly because
yeah.
I think also Born Sinner had a lot of features on it, right?
Yeah.
And Cole actually benefits a lot from getting other artists featured on his stuff too.
I think he needs to get over the whole no features persona. We don't really
platinum with no features.
Yeah, we don't really care anymore. Like that's cool. Like I don't really care anymore.
That's true.
It's whatever to me. Just get some features, man. Nobody's gonna judge you. And also like Cole's biggest knock, I feel like his whole career is just some people just find him boring. And honestly, sometimes I can agree with that. KOD was not a very there's not really much content in that album. To me anyway. There's a couple of mainstream songs that went pretty big, which I didn't hate, but pretty boring listen overall. I really do like Cold World, Born Sinner, For Your Eyes Only, and 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I think those albums are really well told. I like Forest Hills Drive probably the most, as maybe the consensus would be. That's a pretty solid project. But yeah, I feel like everyone's still gonna listen to a Cole album. We might get like a Playboy Cardi type reaction where people just say it's trash immediately because sometimes it's more fun to make fun of something than realize how good it is. But honestly, Playboy Cardi's album wasn't amazing anyway. But yeah, it's just whenever an artist drops, everyone's just like this shit ass right away. But sometimes I just find funny because the content on Twitter is always good to take in. But yeah, is there anybody specific you're looking forward to drop, Malachi?
Yeah, I want SZA to drop an album. It's been a good amount of time, and I think the streets need a SZA album.
The streets do need a SZA.
We also need a Rihanna. I don't know if Rihanna ever. If we get a Rihanna album, I think then COVID probably will end because that's
that's kind of true.
Maybe like
it's kind of true.
I think it's like when Rihanna drops, life is good.
Rihanna can end COVID if she just drops an album. Let's be real here.
I think so. There's a few other artists. I'm looking forward to Absol said he was dropping soon. We don't know how soon is soon, but he's one of my favorite artists to listen to, so I'm really looking forward to that. Schoolboy Q, I mean, him and Freddie Gibbs actually are gonna drop a song this Friday, and I'm interested to hear what that's gonna sound like.
Sounds like something you'd like.
And they're gonna I think it's gonna be called Rabbit and the Turtle or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
One of them's gonna rap really fast, and one of them's gonna rap really slow.
And the slower one has the better verse, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
That would be apparently there's a couple good things dropping this Friday, so we're gonna be looking to cover that too, which will be cool. I can't name any of them, but like yeah.
Also, we're getting might get some collab albums this year. I know that Madlib and Freddie Gibbs want to finish their trilogy of Bandana Pinata, and then the final album for that is supposed to be Montana. I don't know if that's coming this year, but if it does happen this year, that's great. Yeah, those are what I'm looking forward to sort of this year. We kind of progress into the year, more and more artists drop, and we'll see. We'll kind of go from there.
Yep, and you can find coverage everywhere from this podcast. Yeah. We got a link tree now, so check the description.
Yeah, we got a link tree. All the stuff on one.
Yeah, everything in one thing, because Yeah, it makes it easier because I don't like posting every link in the description. But anyway, my boy Travis Scott has been slandered lately on Twitter, and I am not gonna
I don't know
stand for
why.
this. I'm not gonna stand for this. They are disrespecting Travis Scott on social media, bro, and I don't like where this is going. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Travis, in terms of music in 2020, not the best. Just being straight up with y'all. Although Franchise did hit 100 million streams and that song was pretty bad. So, yeah, get fucked. Anyway, the Scots was pretty good. He had some dookie verses on some songs where like you probably could have done without them, but like they are disrespecting this man on social media, bro, and I am done with it because they're saying Future would wash Travis Scott in a versus battle. Now look, I'm not gonna say Travis Scott would win because let's be real, he probably wouldn't because Future has the longevity and more music than him. So if we're
More
going
music, like
if we're going based on how many songs you put out, the odds are you'll put out more hits the more songs you drop. Because that's
true.
usually how quantity works.
Also, Future has a collab tape with Drake, so of course there's gonna be a lot of hits that you
Yeah.
just lined up. Does Travis have the collab tape with Drake? No.
No.
If he did, maybe it'd be the same thing. Who knows? Like,
Yeah,
but
Drake Future has like 16 albums or something crazy. Travis has 3. Like, but yeah, I don't think it would be as like I don't think Future would probably win. Like, I'm gonna be a little bit modest here. Y'all can see my walls. It's pretty obvious who I support. But let's be real. Keeping it real. I don't think Travis would do that bad against Future, if we're being honest.
I don't think it'll be a dog fest like some people say. Like, I know one of our YouTubers that we like watching, Sean C. Was like just dogging on Travis the whole episode. Like won like I think three matchups, but some of the matchups weren't even like didn't even make sense. Anyways, but I personally I don't think it would be as I definitely do think Future would win. Future is hit god, like he is.
Future's
That's
really
what
good.
he's known for.
He's really good, yeah.
He's known for, yeah. But I don't think he would get. I don't think Travis would get washed. Like it won't be as bad as some people are trying to make it seem. I really don't think so.
I think mans are disrespecting LaFlame on Twitter, and y'all just wait for this next album because once he drops the next album, it's gonna solidify his GOAT status. Because he already has 2 classics, he just needs 1 more.
That's it.
In addition to that, in addition to that, Travis Scott, every song on Astroworld has over 100 million streams, which is absolutely insane.
And now Spotify pays literally fuck all, but that is still amazing because 100 million streams to get that just one song on an album is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that every song has 100 million streams is incredible. And also want to look at all the artists that benefit from that too that are on the album, like Don Toliver. It's like they benefit a lot.
Don Toliver is like although I don't know how it works when they're not officially listed as features. Like,
well, I don't. Yeah, but if they're not officially listed as features, they still might list them as a writer, and they still get credit because
I'm sure Travis. I'm sure Travis doesn't really need the money, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
I think he's well off. I think he'll be okay. But yeah, I think the last song to get over 100 million was Coffee Bean. So, we have the whole numbers discussion, but like I feel like if your album is consistently doing numbers 3 years after it dropped, probably a good album.
Probably a very good album.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's doing way more. It's doing way better than Rodeo did.
Yeah, although Rodeo was dropped when Travis wasn't as big.
It's true, but if you think about it too, like Rodeo, like if you like, people are going back to his old music, and I think revisiting Astroworld a lot more. So that's
because I guess we're gonna have this talk now anyway. I just think with Astroworld you get the more complete, full, replayable album.
I agree.
On Rodeo, there's some really long songs that I guess maybe a Travis fan wouldn't want to listen to all the time. Like Flying High, really long song. There's some like 3500 is a really long song. With Astroworld, there's like no really long songs that Sicko Mode, which is like 10 times platinum. So people clearly didn't have an issue with that one. But yeah,
Yeah. I also think that his features on Rodeo were better than Asteroid in my opinion, but Asteroid overall was probably a better album. In my
Asteroid.
opinion.
I feel like
I
Asteroid.
think the production was
Yeah, like with Asteroid, the features fit more with the songs. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. Yeah. But I thought the features in jet like the features on their own, just like the standalone verses on Rodeo, I enjoyed more. But on Astroworld, they fit more. They were more meant for that specific song. Like it was more like Travis and that artist found fusion as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah.
just
I feel like when we look
yeah
at it, like Asteroid is more like well constructed, like more thought was just put in the construction of like this song goes where and like this feature goes where and like this we're gonna do with this. With Rodeo, obviously it's very good, but it just feels like obviously Travis was just this was like his first studio record kind of release, so obviously it's not gonna be. I mean, some people do consider it his best work, but I think Asteroid's better personally.
yeah. I 100% agree.
Yeah. But yeah. Stop disrespecting Travis on Twitter. He's probably better than your favorite artist. Y'all need to stop comparing him to Lil Uzi Vert because he's way better than him. And I'm not. And I'm not.
Hey, academics said
I'm not.
Lil Uzi would.
I'm not here to debate Lil Uzi Vert Travis Scott because I feel like Travis Scott is just he's better. If I'm being honest with y'all, like no bias. Like take the posters off my wall. I'm taking Travis Scott over Lil Uzi Vert any day. Even at hip battle, I'm taking Travis Scott. I feel like we also talked like some interesting like you should probably put Future against someone else in a hit battle, like Future versus Young Thug, who also has like 16 albums. Like I feel like that would be more fair of a fight than Travis, who has 3. Travis versus Kid Cudi would be cool. You could even do Travis versus Uzi. That'd be fun. That'd
be fun.
Yeah.
I think Travis would probably wash Uzi, to be honest. Like, well, maybe not wash. Uzi has hits, but
yeah, like
I don't know.
there's a couple like XO Tour Life would probably wash any Travis song. There's 20 minutes. The Way Life Goes, I like. There's a bunch of songs off. I mean, he's not gonna do any songs from the fucking Pluto's album because that had no bangers on it.
Hey, yeah, that's fact. That's fact.
But yeah, moving on. The boy Logic, who retired supposedly in July, dropped a mixtape under the alias Dr. Doom. It dropped on DatPiff and SoundCloud and YouTube, basically anywhere where you don't have to clear samples. Yeah. To be honest with y'all, not a lot of rapping on this album. But the beats,
it wasn't a lot.
The beats were gas, and it told a good story.
Yeah. The beats. Me and Nikki were actually having a discussion about this, right? I found out that Lodge dropping an album under the alias Dr. D. I'm like, oh wow, I had no clue what was going on. So I sent it to him, and I was like, hey, he's not releasing on streaming services, so that means one thing, and the beats are going to be amazing because Logic. I think Logic never got the credit he deserved for how good of a how much of a sample god he is.
Yep.
Like even on his actual projects where he had to clear samples, and he's had many issues with that in the past.
She's
like
very,
a lot
very
of issues.
Vocal about.
Yeah.
Very vocal about.
Yeah. He's had some amazing samples, like the one I think it was Fade Away, the Christmas the Christmas thing he sampled. I forgot exactly what yeah, it was
I don't know what the hell the song's called, but like it's like the "'Tis the Season" to be jolly song. Yeah. And he turned it into like a hip hop record.
And then he also has like just some amazing other features that he had on his mixtapes that weren't on streaming services before, like his Young Sinatra tapes, you know. He has some classic.
He sampled Nas a lot, which was yeah. He
just, was it Life's a Bitch? Yeah,
Life's a Bitch and Then You Die. Yeah,
I know that. Yeah, for some reason I associate that sample with Logic, even though it's like, but I associate with him because. Yeah. But like that's how crazy to me, like how much of a sample god he was. And never
if you go to like his Genius page and you check his songs and you go to like samples, there's just so many. Yeah. And like when you're listening, when you listen to it again, you can hear them all. And it's like, whoa, he did that with this, and he did this with that, like and he flipped this sample, like it's crazy.
Also, he on You Come to Your Story, I thought there were like some crazy samples on that. even the beats on Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, they were very good. It
Yeah,
wasn't a very good
just
album.
that lyrical content was absolutely terrible. I don't know what he was doing.
Wasn't a great album, but I even go back to Bobby Tarantino. Those mixtapes, some of the samples are amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like we discredit him because of the corniness of his rap, right? But I don't want to ever take away from how good of a producer and engineer and sampler Logic has, because we look at this tape, amazing sample, amazing. It was like a classical record,
Yeah.
That's what it really felt like.
It's kind of like a 90s 80s boom bap type hip hop record. I do recommend listening to if you're kind of into like really like good heavy beats. It's kind of like a record you can just like chill and just listen to. It's one of those ones. Like if you're just sitting in the car and just driving by yourself, or like it's late at night, you're just trying to find like a nice vibe. I think it's pretty good, and it tells like a nice funny story, which I enjoyed. So yeah,
I don't smoke, but like it would be a good album to like roll a blunt to,
Yeah,
like,
I don't smoke either, but like I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't, it's called Planetary Destruction. You can find it on DatPiff and SoundCloud if you want to give it a listen.
And also want to talk about the Doom influence from the album too, like the album cover and everything. He had a few bars on that paid homage to MF Doom, and that's also amazing. I didn't even think of Logic to be someone that took a lot of inspo from MF Doom, but then looking at it from the album, it actually does make sense. I see it, but yeah, and that was really cool as well to see that from Logic.
Yeah. So what begs the question from this is I assume he's gonna do more projects like this, right? Like it wouldn't make sense to do this.
Yeah,
he just can't be.
I would.
I guess he just can't be Logic because of contract restrictions. I guess. Or
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
it's hard to say.
I assume he owns the name Logic, right? Like, I assume he owns that name.
Yeah. I would think so.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man. But like, he did drop it, and like he pitch shift his voice. You can tell it's Logic. It's pretty obvious by just the way he's rapping and what he's saying, and like the cadences and like just his wordplay. It's him. But it'd be nice if he could like release it without the pitch shift, because I'm sure it would sound a lot better. But yeah, listen to it if you have the time. The boy Young Thug told us he was gonna drop something, and then we couldn't find it, so we didn't listen to it. So there's really not much to talk about there. Party Next Door dropped a mixtape from 2014, I think, or something, on streaming services, which I also didn't listen to, but he dropped it. So if you guys want to hit up that new not that new PND, but like that old PND, check it out.
That old new PND.
That old new. Check it out on your favorite streaming platform. These are some quick hits. The Weeknd is performing at the Super Bowl on Sunday. It is Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. I think I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here, Kansas City. Just from the one game I've watched, they've looked pretty good. So yeah, and the Weeknd is performing. He's also dropping a compilation that night of his greatest hits. And because America is stupid, the stadium is going to be full. So he's putting $7 million of his own money into the performance, so he can make it what he wants to be. A lot of people are being like, "Why does the Weeknd need to do this?" But like, because everyone knows who the Weeknd is. But even then, some people still haven't heard the Weeknd, and I'm sure people that like. First of all, if you are dumb enough to go to a stadium full of 50,000 people with COVID, I don't care if you're wearing a mask or if you're washing your hands, probably not a good idea. But like, I don't know, the demographic there probably doesn't really listen to much of the Weeknd, if we're being honest. So it's a way for him to get more people listening to him. More people listening means more money. You can never have enough money. Along with that, 150 million people watch Super Bowl every year. So it's a worthy investment for the Weeknd. And if I had to guess, $7 million is not much money to him.
Probably not. I mean, the Weeknd's been running. I mean, he ran 2020 for quite some time. When he
didn't get that Grammy nom though.
He ran 2020 for quite some time after he dropped his album, and he did a bunch of remixes, he did a bunch of features, and it was the year of the weekend. You know, a lot of music reviewers had After Hours in like the top five. Some had it number one. You know, After Hours was like in terms of how it was critically acclaimed. It was up there. Um, but no Grammy nomination,
No
which
Grammy.
I mean, in terms of recognition, what it didn't do much for the weekend. But I mean, people that actually appreciate the R&B and hip hop culture, gave him his recognition, which I think is important too.
I mean, you can look at this two ways. Like, the Weeknd doesn't need a Grammy, if we're being honest. But like, maybe for him personally, a Grammy is obviously an accomplishment, right? Like, musicians obviously want Grammys. I mean, maybe if you're a little baby, you don't want a Grammy, which he said many times. But I guess it's important that a lot of artists want a Grammy. It's like for example, like I don't really care if we ever win a best podcast award, but like it'd be nice to have one, you know? Some I guess it's in that, which I don't think we're ever gonna get a best podcast award, but we just like doing this for fun, and I'm sure the Weeknd also likes doing music because it's his hobby, which he turned into a job and made absolute shit ton of money. So I know Grammy is concerned, but if we're being honest, he don't need no Grammy. He's also leading. He's like, I think he's number one in the world for Spotify monthly listeners, and he has been like forever.
Yeah, pretty sure he is. And speaking of Spotify listeners, I mean, this whole debacle, like how people are like, how Charlie or Dixie D'Amelio has like more monthly listeners than Kendrick Lamar, and people are like freaking out. It's like come on, like
it's trendy. It's trendy. Like it's honestly fun sometimes just to go on Twitter and be like, just screenshot two different like artists, and one's way better than the other, but the one that's worse has more monthly listeners. So it's like nice one, humans, and it's just Charlie D'Amelio outstreaming Kendrick Lamar, for average monthly listeners. Like 24 Kate Golden was out streaming Travis Scott for monthly listeners.
He actually makes good. I like his music. I like his music, and
yeah, but like
Nakash wasn't too happy with that, but.
No, I'm not saying he's terrible, but like, come on, bro, come on. Or it's like, yeah, as we said, like Dixie D'Amelio is one of like the main examples here. Like she was outstreaming Travis Scott, not Travis Scott, fuck, Kendrick, Frank Ocean, like, bro, come on.
I don't even know she made music. Like, I don't know what exactly people are listening to.
She has 2 songs.
We were just listening to those 2 songs.
I swear she has a song with Lil Yachty, but I'm not 100% sure on that. You know what? Let me look. Fuck it. We're gonna do this. Let's see.
I didn't even know. I just know them. I don't have TikTok, so
No. It's not. She has a song with Wiz Khalifa.
I don't even know.
Song with Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, she has a song with Wiz Khalifa, who's kind of fallen off, but.
I mean, yeah, he's doing a song with What's her name? Dixie D'Amelio.
That's true. That's true.
She actually has one. She has a feature, a single, and 2 more singles. And right now, okay, let's do this. Guess her monthly listeners.
Like okay, it's in the 20 millions.
No, it's actually fallen down a lot now.
14 million.
Lower.
8 million.
What'd you say? 8?
Yeah.
No, go lower.
Lower. All right. Oh wow. Okay, 5.
Yeah, 5 million. It fell off.
That's her monthly. So that fell off. That fell off a lot.
It fell off. Hold on, just for fun. I kind of want to see what the boy of Frank Ocean is at, because I know that was one they were comparing. Frank Ocean. Speaking of Frank Ocean, bro.
Frank Ocean is a streaming god. We don't really talk about much. I mean, he's more R&B, obviously, but
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I just want to talk about Spotify monthly listeners. I know I've done it. Like, it's fun to just be like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? But yeah, Spotify monthly listeners is always stupid to look at. I find I know the boy.
Yeah. So now we bring up Frank Ocean. Yeah. We bring up Frank Ocean and
Yeah.
the whole. Like, I just want to talk about like how, obviously Frank Ocean is a goat. We all know that. You know, Frank Ocean is a critically acclaimed goat, and he's also a mainstream goat. He's a goat in general, right? But he like there's a people put his like a certain like aura around his music as if it can't be criticized or it can't be touched. And he's like and it's like his fans like lose their mind a lot, to be honest. I mean, I would consider myself a fan. Like, I like his music, but like I remember I saw his tweet. It was like Brent Fias. This is how it happened. Right? I saw a tweet before it blew up. Okay, I don't know how, but I did. It was like maybe like a few hundred interactions. I see the tweet. It was like, oh, Brent Fias. It was something like Brent Fias. If he drops the next album classic, it should be gonna be a Frank Ocean level. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't care. I scroll.
Whatever.
I saw a tweet like 20 more times on my time. Like, people were quote retweeting it, be like, yo, are you crazy? Like, people were like freaking out. It's like, bro, it's not that serious. Like, he did that just for interactions. Like, and
it's so easy though. It's so easy.
So it is. He did that just for interactions, and look what y'all did. Now his tweet millions of interactions. Like, y'all were like y'all fell into his trap.
It's the internet's fault. Like, TikTokers got popular, bro. They literally don't. I'm not gonna sit here and be like bitter about it, but like you know, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. People get mad that these people are popular, but like, they're the reason they're popular. Why are you tweeting about them 5 times, bro? Just don't give them the time of day. But yeah. Speaking of as we talked in the beginning of the episode, upcoming expectations for artists. That boy Don Toliver was teasing an album in some tweets the other day. He said he's got something cooking on the way. So I just want to say his last album was really, really good. I think underrated by most people. And if you haven't listened to it, Heaven or Hell, give it a listen. But also, as I said, underrated. And Don, we do need that new album. I feel like it's been a while since you've dropped anything. I'm tired of listening to Lemonade. I know there's a remix with Roddy Ricch, and there's also a version with Nav, which I'm not very interested in. But yeah, moving on from Don Toliver. Let me preface this by saying this is something we have talked about basically every episode. Our first one we discussed it, our second one we discussed it, and our third one I think we discussed it again. Apparently,
yeah, fourth one as well.
Yeah, apparently the cases were dropped, the charges were dropped in the Tory Lanez versus Megan Thee Stallion case. Now this is not confirmed. But I did see a couple of things saying that it was dropped and that Tory Lanez wants clearance to speak fully on the case. This man Tory Lanez is out of his mind sometimes, bro. I swear to God. I'd be like, I'd be just seeing this guy like all over social media. I'm like, bro, I don't understand how you're just doing this shit. Like, first of all, he did a shitty album gaslighting Megan Thee Stallion, an entire Ass Cheeks album. Like, that shit was trash. And now, like, he did like that whole Instagram live where he was discussing, and now he wants to speak about it. Like, speak about what, bro?
Yeah, this whole Tory Meg situation, like, I've a part of me has grown past it because, like, I really, like, it just been, I sort of got my stance in it. Like, we saw Megan Thee Stallion's live, what she said, and everything she said made sense and believable, I guess. I mean, it's not even about picking sides here because obviously I'm not affiliated with either of them. Like, it doesn't matter whose side I actually really take. I just look at it and go, okay. Because Tory, I think the very first step was like, he said, I got drunk and I shot her, some shit like that. It was like,
yeah.
That's where it was like, that was like one of the first. I was like, and then he said,
yeah, it was like he got drunk and mad and he just shot her. Like, he just pulled out like the strap, like he just pulled out the strap, bro, and then he just shot her, bro. Like he grabbed the strap, bro, like the strap, right? And then he just shot her. He just shot her like boom. This is a fake gun, okay? Don't come and get me, cops. But he just shot her. He just shot her.
And then he's saying, you know, he didn't, but it was like so the situation that didn't make sense what he was saying, and then I was all right. You know what? Like, obviously she got shot, regardless if it was him or wasn't him. Like, you know, she got shot and she had injuries, and then the police were investigating. You know, she did the right thing and didn't want anyone else to, you know, be at risk of anything, especially with everything that was happening during that time with with America and like everything, the protests, the riots, everything that was
social
happening.
Justice, yeah.
Yeah. Um, you know, and also in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Forget that we're
Okay,
in a pandemic.
first of all, why were they partying in a pandemic? I actually like, bro. I actually hate when celebrities are like, "Oh my god, welcome to this pandemic, bro." You were literally at a party last night. You know what I was doing last night? Fucking playing NHL 21, my G. And I don't like that fucking game, but I just gotta play it because nothing else to do. I actually fucking hate you so
Well,
much.
I don't know if they were. I don't know how many of them were together.
I don't care.
I mean,
they're at a club. So, like, man, celebrities, for the most part, like all these big celebrities, be like are at parties one day. They're flying all over the world to like these nice tropical places. They're on beaches. They get home and they're like, "Oh my god, this pandemic has been so depressing, bro." Like, I don't get it. But like back to the case. As Malachi was saying, I don't really have a side either. I tend to stand more with Meg just because her story makes no sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't even know what Tory Lanez story is. Like, I'm not trying to listen to that album. Keeping it 100 with y'all. So yeah. We're still gonna follow this case until its end. I feel like it's just something we're obliged to do now. Because it's a staple of our podcast. So I guess yeah, Tory and Meg. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens next week. Switching gears here. The boy, rest in peace, bless his soul. Xxx Tentacion. His birthday was last week, I think. I just want to talk about his impact. So I think for X, he was a pretty big advocate for dealing with your mental health and your problems in some sort of like just a medium and being able to express yourself, which he kind of poured everything out on his 17 album, which is a pretty influential album, I would say. Like, it really opened the eyes of some people on how to sort of deal with your problems and your thoughts, and just being able to express your thoughts in some way because it's important. And then he had Question Mark, which was also a pretty good album. And then I just wanted to quickly discuss how his mom, from all we know, his mom and him didn't really have a good relationship. Pretty sure X was homeless a few times, and there was always something going on there. So when X died, it just seemed like I think most people can see that she kind of just swooped in and was like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to get to take advantage of my son's fans, and like make some money off of it. That's from just what I see. I don't really know what her actual intentions are. But yeah, like things like the Skins album, obviously unfinished. Bad Vibes Forever, obviously unfinished. And this isn't just her, it's the label too, right? The label has to push all that through. And then like some shit about like let's make an Xxx Tentacion anime, like a bunch of like that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, it's pretty obvious that that's not the direction he would have gone in. And which takes me into like posthumous releases. I think, what was it? Mac Miller's Circles had its 1-year anniversary. Another posthumous release that actually followed the creative direction of what the artist wanted it to look like, which I think is very important for after an artist passes away, that their art is still true to them. Because with X, it's very obvious that it wasn't true to him. Like, I know on the Bad Life Story, but there was features on it that like in a normal time X probably wouldn't be doing a features with. But with Mac, honestly, not a big Mac fan, but that's mostly because I haven't really checked out his stuff. I just think from all the reception I've heard from it is that like this is something that Mac Miller would have probably done if he was still with us.
Yeah. Last episode had this Circles as my number 2 album of the year. and I said that it's hard. It's a hard listen sometimes because knowing that Mac isn't here.
Yeah.
And it makes me. It puts me in my feels sometimes. Like it's hard to stomach that. But I see how amazing this album was, and he wasn't even here for its release. I don't actually know how many songs were recorded after he died. I know it was something he was working on before he passed away because it was supposed to be part of a trilogy. Swimming was the first album of the trilogy, then this, and it's supposed to be like a third album of the trilogy, right? And like swimming in circles was like the whole like idea, you know, like that was like the whole concept, and then there's three albums in that. It is a hard listen because knowing that how, like, I love this album, and I seeing where he would have really gone with it, like would have been something crazy, you know. But and going back to like, you know, X, obviously a talented artist, and he's impacted so many lives, so many. Like I remember like it was crazy. Maybe the day after, I was like, it was when he died, right? My entire feed on Instagram was X. Like my entire explore feed was X.
Literally all social media was X.
Yeah, crazy. And I think that's crazy because like his impact, like, that's just his impact. I don't think very many other artists have had that same level of impact on social media after they passed away. You know, X was like definitely, like, it was crazy. You know,
I also felt like because it with X, it was kind of like the first like artist of that magnitude influence in a long time that just like suddenly was passed away, especially in like a murder, right? It was something that we haven't heard of like in forever. Maybe since like, I guess the last one would have been like Speaker Knockers. Maybe. I can't really remember too well. Was Whitney Houston too?
Yeah. But I think within the age of social media,
yeah,
I would say, I was like X was like the first. Maybe not I don't know if he was the first, but like he was the biggest one within the age of social media.
He was also like our generation type of guy. The first one in our generation that passed away, and then it was just like so many other people also went like so close to each other. It was crazy. Like all these rappers, just like all like rappers that we all loved, our age group especially loved, like passed away. But yeah, so you know, rest in peace, Mac. I do understand what you're talking about. Like sometimes, like the most hardest question we have to ask ourselves is like a what if, you know, like if they were, we do this with every artist that passed away, like every artist we're fans of. It's just like what if they were here for their album drop? What if they were here to see like the reception of their album or how well liked they are? Like I know with especially with like Pop Smoke, Mac Miller, Juice WRLD, right? These guys who dropped amazing posthumous albums in 2020. It's just it would have been nice to see how they would have reacted to the reception to their projects. But obviously, you know, that's the way life goes, and we can't do that. So obviously, you know, rest in peace to everyone that's passed away over the past 3 years, and everyone before that in the industry. Quickly switching gears here. It's hard to do. It's hard to transition out of these because it gets deep. But I just wanna. This was pretty funny to me. So America. I think it was 22nd or 21st. I don't really remember. I don't care. That boy Trump on his last day came up clutch for the music industry. I won't lie to y'all. So I know Lil Wayne was facing charges and Kodak Black was in jail for a while. So what did Trump do? This man pardoned them both. So they both walked out free. So not really much to say about that or to comment on that, but like I guess, you know, Trump had to leave a lasting impact on the hip hop community by letting my man's Kodak and Lil Wayne be free. I mean, Lil Wayne for some reason is always in trouble with the law. I feel like this guy is like, gun charges or some shit like that, like all the time. So and he's always just chilling. Like it's Lil Wayne. He's like, he's also a legend and a goat. Like it's Lil Wayne, bro. And then Kodak. I think Kodak still has another hearing for some stuff I don't want to say on this podcast, but like I think it's pretty bad. And then also yeah, another thing was Joe Exotic, Tiger King, a very popular Netflix series in like April that was popular for I think literally a week. Um, he expected, for those of you that know, he also expected Trump to pardon him. So he and his team called a limo to the prison, but he wasn't pardoned. So they just called a limo for no reason, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, moving on from that, Pop Smoke dropped a movie trailer. He's gonna be in. It's called Boogie. I think it's about
Yeah.
it's like a basketball movie. Um, but yeah, it was kind of tough watching that because like also just seeing him in the trailer was like, damn, you know, like like these guys are just taken so young, and their art won't have the longevity as we hope it would.
Yeah, I think we forget how young Pop Smoke really was. He was 20.
Yeah,
Like he was
he was
he was
born in
incredibly
he was
young, and
born
he
in
has such a high
1999.
ceiling.
He was born in 1999.
Pop Smoke, I think, had one of the highest ceilings out of any upcoming artist.
Oh, I
Like
agree.
his ceiling was crazy because how young he was.
I definitely think
And
he could have
yeah,
been up there, especially because of the influence he took from guys like a 50 Cent or like just stuff like that. Was huge. And a lot of people just rocked with him, especially in that album. Like he did explore some more genres and some more type of vibes aside from just drill itself, which he was also really good at. But yeah, once again another artist's potential is taken away from us. One thing Malachi wanted to discuss though was the underground scene and just some artists he
yeah,
wanted to recommend to y'all that you should take a look at. So take it away, man.
yeah. Some underground. I've listened to a lot of underground music recently, and like I said, at the beginning of the episode, MF Doom, basically created the underground scene in a lot of ways, despite him not being an underground artist himself, because he still had, like I said, Nike collaboration, and was still a very big name in the industry. But some underground artists that I've listened to recently. So let's start with Mike. He had I'll just recommend one album, The Weight of the World. He has a bunch of projects, and they're all pretty good. I like Weight of the World the most because I feel like it's just his most complete project. Um, there are some albums he has where it's just like he has a lot of instrumentals that plays, and it's like, okay, but I wanted to rap, but he just sort of just plays instrumentals a lot. It's cool. And then Kai Solo, who I don't know how I discovered him. I think it was an album I listened to. I listened to a feature from him, and I thought it was very good. Went through his discography. And Black Sand is a phenomenal project. It's actually a collaboration with Pink Sifu. I don't know if many people are familiar with Pink Sifu, but he is actually a really great artist. He makes very, I don't want to say politically charged music, but it kind of is. Like I know his album, I think it was called Negro. Was it Negro? I can't remember what the name of the album was. It was like he talked a lot about like the police system and a lot of stuff, and like racial injustice, and almost like, but from his viewpoint, was almost like he was angry, like, you know what I mean, like the angry standpoint, not like the reflective standpoint, but like the angry, like the anger and the fear that African American people in America face because of the brutal police force, you know? Yeah, and then we have Medhane. Now Medhane, obviously, he was number 3. His album Full Circle, number 3 on my top 20 or top 10. I mean, album list of 2020. And he dropped 3 albums in 1 year, 2020, and Nav obviously did the same thing. But yeah, Medhane dropped 3 really good projects, and I want to recommend. I want to recommend Cold Water, which is a very good project. He also dropped Own Pace, which has some really good songs in that. Lucky is a bit of an interesting artist because he's not as underground as people make it seem. Because there are a lot of my friends actually listen to Lucky as well. He's like a trap artist, and he makes very short trap music, which I think is really cool because I think if more trap artists made shorter music, trap would actually be a much better genre. I feel like there's some trap songs that last way too long. Like Uzi and Future making songs like that are 6 minutes. Like, okay, we get, like, you rap like for after a minute, just end the song. Like
it's kind of the direction trap is going in. Just shorter, better songs. Like the longer
And we
songs,
saw it a bit. Yeah,
it feels like the longer songs are more reserved for like storytelling kind of lyricism kind of
we, we,
songs.
we saw it a little bit with Whole Lot of Red. There were some songs that were like a minute 30 long. I
Yeah,
was like, okay, I actually those are some of my favorite songs on the album, I think.
yeah.
Um, but
It's
yeah,
yeah. It just
uh,
seems like storytelling is more reserved for like, I guess like those more like more rappers that have like more spiritual content, more to kind of take away from the song.
yeah. But yeah, and he has a like experience with that like out of breath kind of flow, which is I think pretty cool. And last you have Khalil Blue with 11. Um, that's like the one project I want to recommend. It's a very underground artist. He gets like less than like 10,000 streams on Spotify. I don't know how I discovered him, but I kind of did. And I was like, okay, he makes trap music as well. And I just really like his music. There's not much else to it. I'm not too. It's hard to. I tried to search him up too, and I couldn't really find like a picture that was. I don't know what he looks like, to be honest. It's hard to see. Like it was so different people. It's like, okay, I really don't know what this guy looks like. But when he blows up one day, we'll all know. So, yeah,
Just know Malachi
so
had it
that's
first.
it. That's it for the underground scene. You can definitely go check out those artists, and we'll see in a few years if they are running the game.
Yeah. So for 2021, we're gonna introduce a new segment to our podcast called the Mic Check. So the Mic Check is just gonna be general topics around the world that are pretty big, just in general, I guess pop culture and just things that people are kind of talking about. So first, we're gonna talk. We wanted to just talk about. So recently, another rapper in the community, obviously, Six Dogs, died due to suicide and taking his
Yeah.
own life. Now, I think it's important to really talk about these kind of mental health struggles and the stigma around it. So I think you know we all deal with mental health in some way. Some people, we all deal with it in our own way. Some days are better than others. But yeah, I really do think everyone's kind of been affected, and it's not a thing that everyone deals with the same way.
Yeah, some people definitely cope differently with when it comes to dealing with their mental struggles, and it's something that, like I said, life, like emotions, feelings, it fluctuates, right? Like life is never going to be, you're never always going to be happy, and
Yeah.
and now depression is a bit different because you can be in that depressed state for something that affects you night in, night out, and every day, but life, there's going to be days like like I said, the average person. There's gonna be days where you're happy, days where you're sad, days where you just don't feel motivated, days you're very motivated, and it's more of like I guess like a cycle almost, and but people, keeping your mental health in check is a very important thing. Finding hobbies to do, just airing out your emotions, like on a podcast, for instance, something like this. Yeah, it's something that we enjoy doing for a lot of reasons, and one of the reasons I enjoy doing it is just to talk about things that are on my mind. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really run through my mind that much. I get to air it out, and that's a cool thing as well. And I also think that like going back to the whole coping thing, people cope with mental health in different ways. And I'm gonna be honest, like when I was a bit younger, would see people would go on social media and would be, I guess, depressed, like in quotations, like on social media, and I would always question it, like, why would you like that? Like, I would always say it's fake and it was doing it for attention, right? And that's not always the case, People genuinely like going on social media to talk about their problems because that's how they cope, and it's different. It's different from how I would do it for sure. But clowning someone for going on social media to talk about their problems isn't right, because if it's something that they actually do for coping, then you're just an asshole, to be honest, and it's not going to help their situation. I think letting people cope with any way that they want. Now there are some ways that aren't very good ways to cope, like using drugs. Probably isn't the best way, because we've seen that happen to where it took people's lives. Um, got your drug abuse, and it just doesn't always end well. And
Yeah.
that's the one way. I don't know. You should always refrain from using any sort of drugs. Like I said, people cope in so many different ways,
Yeah.
It's important to acknowledge that and sort of also embrace it too. You know.
Yeah,
Um.
I wanna, I think it's good to talk about how everyone copes in their own ways, and one big thing about that is just a lot of people just like people that are drug abusers just chalk it up to just, or not, or like people that like from the outside looking in are just, oh, they're just druggies, like what, like I don't care like what led them to this, like, but for the most part a lot of these people that are into these hard kind of drugs have dealt with something traumatic, and it's just a way to cope with their trauma. So I think it's bad for just us as humans to look down on anybody that is dealing with this stuff, because we all deal with that stuff too. We just kind of deal with it in a different way. And I'm not here to say something is better than another. We all have our own coping mechanisms to our depression or anxiety and stuff and things like that. But I think what's important is that at some point we do need to attempt to make them better, to alleviate them. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say depression and anxiety just go away, because if we're being honest, they don't. They affect us every day in some way. As Malachi said, someday we might be depressed and not want to get out of bed, and some days we want to see all our friends and do whatever we want to do. So I think it's best for us to find a way to deal with this trauma, but also acknowledge that it's probably gonna stay with us forever. Um,
Yeah.
and I think you know a lot of people can deal with this, and maybe talking to a therapist or a counselor is the best way to do that. And it's something that I would recommend, because I've had experience with counselors before, and they really do help you in some way. And just different ways to just, I guess, emulate or express your thoughts. Like Malachi said, we do this podcast for fun, but it's also like an hour and a half where like we can just talk to each other, because like we're best friends and we like talking to each other, right? And it's something to just kind of take our mind off things. And overall, we all know this past year hasn't been easy for a lot of people. A lot of coping mechanisms have been taken away from us, right? We can't go see our friends, or like some stuff I like to do when like something was going bad. I just want to take my mind off things. Just go out with my friends and just go to a restaurant and just yuck it up for a couple hours. Just crack jokes and stuff. I feel like a lot of people, and now we like, obviously we have this video thing, right? But like it's not the same. The physical
It's not the
interactions
same.
aren't the same. Uh, but yeah, I just think we need to understand that your depression, it can get better, but you do need to be ready for it. When someone else
And you
might
need to
get
move at your own
Yeah,
pace.
when someone else gets a little bit better, that doesn't mean, oh, I have to do it now. Like, it's up to you when you want to do it, and you just got to make sure you're ready, and you find the best way to do it. And I think it's very important to do that. It doesn't. I don't think it really matters too much when, but at some point you really do gotta look to something to help alleviate these and just make your days that much better. But like, as I think the most important thing from all of this is that there's nothing wrong with being mentally with having poor mental health.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the stigma's kind of lessened, but like it's still pretty big. Like there's
The
I don't
stigma's always going to be there, I think.
yeah, there's,
Just yeah.
especially with like we see this a lot with like celebrities, and like people always chalk it up to like you're rich, how can you be depressed, right? But like everybody, there's always something that's bothering someone. So I think you also got to take into account that like you don't know what's going on in their head, and the best thing you can do to help someone is just do what they ask of you. If they want you to leave them alone for a little bit, leave them alone for a little bit, or like if they want to air out their thoughts to you, you don't always have to be the one like giving advice or trying to solve their problems. Sometimes maybe they just want to talk it out, and like it's important. Like I'm just gonna say it's important that you let them move at their own pace, because um we've all had our depression like episodes and anxiety issues, and it's important to know that like everybody does deal with this, and you will eventually be fine. But you do need at some point to try and alleviate this, because obviously sometimes it gets so bad that we see people turning
We'll
to,
take our own lives.
yeah, you take your own lives, people turning to these super hard drugs that end up with them dying, and it's something nobody wants to see, obviously. So take care of yourself, please. Malachi and I are open. If you guys just need to talk about your day, or like talk about something good that happened, we're
Yeah.
down to listen. uh
Yeah. I also think it's important that like it's important to heal from any traumatic experiences before you get into a relationship with other people, or before you know even have kids, because regardless of what you think, it's going to affect your relationship with your children or your lover, and and then it's going to affect you years down the line. It's so important that you know traumatic. A lot of parents have had traumatic childhoods, and then you see it reflect in with how they treat their kids, and it's always sometimes not good,
Vicious cycle.
and their kids, yeah, and and I say it's important to heal. It's not, the healing process is never going to be easy, but you got to find help, and it might even mean helping yourself, identifying that there is a problem, and that, okay, you know what, I need to do this better. I need to work on this, and it's not going to be, again, like I said, it's not going to be easy, but that's nothing in life.
It's a long
really
road.
Easy.
It's a long road.
It's a long road.
It's
like
not going to
Kosh
fix
said,
it's not going to fix
at your own pace. You got to work at your own pace, and it's not going to fix overnight.
Yeah, and I think it's also good to know that just because therapy worked for someone else, it might not always work for you, and there's nothing to be scared of because of that. I believe that if you keep trying, you'll find your way eventually, but you just can't be like like I talked to my therapist once, so, and I'm not better. Like, why isn't this helping me? I think it's good to. I think obviously the first thing you should do is go to a therapist, go to a counselor, find someone you can confide in, and just talk to them about what's going on. Because the worst thing, I speak from personal experience, is bottling everything up. Because I think it's important that someone knows what's going on with you, and they're also there to just help you and listen at the same time. So yeah, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that just be like, oh, call these numbers and like do that shit. Like, I'm not really. That's not me. But also, if those resources do help you, I'll use them. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and like I said, we're gonna be here. My Twitter DM should be open. That's the platform I use the most. I mean Instagram too. But Twitter,
Instagram
I think
fucking sucks. Terrible
app. Twitter is plugged here somewhere. Probably in the description.
It's on the bottom. Y'all can like see it says follow us on Twitter and then our names. It's also in the description. So yeah.
Our DMs are open. Mental health is important. And
we also hope that this podcast can be like escape for y'all for like an hour and a half or 45 minutes, whatever it is. Because I know podcasts are a nice way for me to just take my mind off things and just listen to what everyone has to say. So, we hope, if you're going through something, you do find your way. So yeah, but once again, we got really deep. This whole podcast has been a pretty deep podcast, but I think it's also important to talk about everything. We have to discuss the PS5 drops that we've been trying to.
Do we have to discuss?
Yeah, we do. We have to discuss the PS5.
Right. Okay.
If you guys are not watching the video portion, you will not see that I do own a PS5. I'm holding the controller, and this guy Malachi does not own a PS5.
All right, so PS5 drops have been a little bit stressed. Me and Nikosh have been trying for a good amount of time. Now, thankfully, Nikosh was able to get retail from one of his friends.
So,
but before that, it was a very big struggle for us to cop PS5.
she was
harder than you would think, right? We're trying to spend our own money. Like, we're trying to spend money to buy something.
We're trying to spend north of $700, and we can't.
We can't. Maybe that's the universe telling us, hey, don't buy.
Save your money, stupid.
We created a hit list.
All right. Let's
so
go through it. So
Walmart's up
there. You got Walmart, Amazon, The Source, Shoppers Drug Mart, Best Buy. Basically any place where you can buy the PS5. We haven't. I mean, I got mine from EB Games from a friend, from like a third party, basically, but. Dude, whenever they drop me, Makai would literally hop in this Discord and sit in a call for 2 hours trying to buy this. And personally, I'm glad that shit's over, bro, because I'm not trying to, that shit was, we talk about, that shit was genuinely draining, bro. Like, just sitting there and pressing the left button on my mouse the whole time. So I'm just glad it's over. That guy Malachi's gonna be doing that for I don't know how long, because it just feels like, the greatest feeling was unfollowing all these accounts that were tweeting about them, and I unfollowed them right away, bro. Right when I got that shit in my hands, it was gone. So, everyone, wish that boy Malachi good luck in the comments. Me, I already got mine. Yeah. drop a like for one PS5 for Malachi, everyone.
Put prayer emoji as well
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. Another one other thing you want to talk about is the King Kong versus Godzilla fiasco that's going on all over. Me and Malachi both
Sick.
team Kong all the way. Comment below what team you are or tweet at us. I just think that movie's gonna be really good. The trailer was so sick.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Team Godzilla, like I just wonder why. Like, what's your reasoning behind being
That was like the easy pick,
Godzilla?
bro.
Yeah, but like, I mean, this is gonna be a sick movie. I saw the trailer. I don't know too much about the leading up into what's the event.
There's
in
a couple
the movie.
movies like before that explain it.
So I might just run through those, see what's up with that.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that too.
And then trying to really see what goes on in the movie, because I like doing that, like just sort of like breaking down, like this happened, and
Yeah,
that's
just knowing the timeline.
That's what, yeah. So that's gonna be a fun movie when that comes out. Yeah, we look forward to that.
GameStop stocks, kind of an older story by now, because honestly they kind of dropped because just like with all things, the rich people always win in the end. But yeah, if y'all don't know, a subreddit, Wall Street something, I forgot the
Wall Street Boys, something
like that.
I forgot what
they all bought up all these GameStop stocks, and then all the price rose, and people got rich overnight, which was cool. Because these other rich people were like already rich people were like trying to like basically scam them with like hedge funds. Something I don't really want to get into that deep. Y'all probably already know the story. I thought it was funny that like we're finally we're revolting. Let's eat the rich as we should be. But the rich people always win, which is unfortunate. A couple more things to talk about. With it being Black History Month, on the podcast we want to cover someone important that is of African descent, or just someone that really embodies Black influence and being an icon for the Black community. And today I want to discuss Kobe Bryant. For that, obviously, he passed away January 26th. 2020, which was about a year ago last week. And I think it's important to recognize just his influence on like people, and just his influence on the game, and just how he was, like who he was.
I mean, his influence goes like, I mean, obviously he was one of the greatest influences in basketball, but his influence goes greater than just basketball. It goes greater than just sports. It goes greater than just like his influence. He influenced so many people. He was one of the biggest influences ever, just in general. People, athletes of different sports, like were looked at Kobe Bryant as one of the main inspirations. We look at the hip hop industry, right? So many artists. I know particularly Amine, huge Kobe fan.
Mm-hmm.
And Kobe was a big drive to their success within their music careers as well. And that type of influence is crazy. The Mamba mentality, how dialed in he was every game. He was a different breed. Like when he was on the court, he was different. I remember, I always remember the clip of the guy like pump faking the ball right at his face, and he doesn't even like had an eye, and I always
yeah.
He didn't even give him the time of, like I will always remember that. That's one of my favorite Kobe moments, just because of how like surreal it was. Like I definitely would have flinched in that situation. I probably would have, like, what the fuck.
Yeah.
But the Kobe was just like, nah.
Yeah.
I also think
with Kobe, you could tell his influence because kids growing up would throw something into a bin and would yell Kobe, because that's just that's how influential he was. And then again, you see with the Mamba mentality, like what Kobe taught us is that like if you work hard for anything, you can get what you want. And I think that's super important. Like Kobe was all about working for what you deserve. Along with that, like Kobe was just like we throw around the word different, like he really was just different. The guy won 5 NBA championships. Like he was like the embodiment of just grinding every day, putting your work in, and just doing your shit. And then Kobe walked the walk, talked the talk. He did everything. And everybody, obviously the passing was just shocked around the entire world. Like the whole world knew Kobe.
Yeah.
All as he said, as Malcolm said, like players all over sports knew Kobe because that's just how influential he was on the world, and not even just basketball. Um, yeah. So obviously, rest in peace to the Mamba. Mamba mentality all day, every day, baby.
So just one more thing I'm hearing recently is that apparently, I think it was 2012 Olympics. Kobe, like the night, like the morning of training camp for Team USA, he went on a 40-mile bike ride. Now, and I was reading
That's
this
just
like,
dumb
is
shit
that
Kobe
did he
would
really
do.
like 2 a.m. Then he was like at 2 a.m. and he went back and he slept for a bit. It got up for like it was like 8 a.m. Their training camp for Team USA Olympic basketball. I was like, there's like
Like
that's
who
just
does that? Who does that?
who does that? That's
Like another clip that I saw was like Kobe talked about how his daily routine, and he was like, oh, so like, oh, let's say you like wake up at 9 o'clock, and then you get up, you do your shit, and then like at 10 you go work out for 2 hours, right? And then Kobe was talking about how like Kobe would like wake up at 4, work out from 5 to 7, then go eat breakfast, right? And then at like 8 o'clock or like 9 o'clock he would go work out again for 2 hours. Come home, eat lunch, hang out with his kids, and then go again and work out for 2 hours. He was talking about how because he woke up early, he was able to put the work in for what he wanted. And there was another story where like Kobe was talking to an NBA player. He was like, oh, we should practice together. And then he was like, oh, when? He was like, oh, I don't know, like 4. And then Kobe was like, the guy was like 4 p.m. and he was like, nah, 4 a.m. We're in here. Or like, there's so many stories about how Kobe would like be at practice 2 hours earlier than the entire team, and he would still be practicing when everyone was done, which is just insane. So everyone can take something away from the way Kobe grinded. I don't really expect anybody to really wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym, and then go back like 3 hours later and then do it again, because that's just Kobe was just different bodied. But yeah, rest in peace, Kobe, an inspiration on the entire world.
yeah. We're always gonna keep that Mamba mentality. That's just how we're gonna be moving forward.
Yeah. But yeah, that about wraps up the podcast for today. We did go for a long time, but it's been a month, we had a lot to cover. All the links that you need are in the description. Check out our playlist. Shout out the boy Carlin for our intro jingle and our outro jingle. And that about does it for this week's Microphone Club. We'll see you all next week, and we hope there's enough news to talk about. Peace out, everyone.
Peace out.
All right. How